your main goal has to be making sure that you are being responsible with what you can control first. You have to take care of your own stuff first. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. So I am in what I would call my let it go season. There's been a lot of change in the last 18 months or so in my world, a lot of really, really jarring change. I cannot even get into like all of the details, but to give you high level, I lost my dad. I closed my company, my first company. I shaved my head. I mean, it's been a lot. Okay. It's been a lot. Some of it has ended up being really great, but it's been tough. And I'll be honest, I started out fighting all of it. Like, no, I like my life. Like, I want things to continue as they have been. And I did a lot of clinging, to the things that felt familiar and what I felt like I had earned. And eventually I got to a place where I realized there is no room for what's next if I refuse to let go of what's now. Okay. And I had to get really real about control. Okay. And we're going to talk about control today. That's what today's episode is going to be about. And humaning well for me in the last 18 months has been about accepting the evolution that is inevitable and learning to attend to what I actually get to control, which candidly is mostly just me. Because clinging to things, very quickly became like a let go or be dragged situation. And I'm going to let you know, being dragged is no fun. Okay. It's painful. It's tough. You get scuffed up and dirty. It's, and life will drag you as long as you are going to hold on. Some of us know people like that who, life is dragging them and they refuse to let go. And then the other thing is I've had to kind of face that, control of most things outside of myself is mostly a myth. Okay. You mostly only control yourself. And so I wanted to cover control in an episode because I think that many of us, around the globe are living in a moment where the changes are swift, lots of them are harsh. Things are very unpredictable. Those of us who really enjoy consistency are having to reckon with this incessant evolution, and it could be disheartening, overwhelming, make people just want to throw their hands up, honestly. And I believe that we forget when we are in those moments where it just feels like we're being bombarded with so much that we actually do have a little bit we can control. Now, there's a lot that we cannot, and we like to worry about those things, but there's some stuff that we do get to control. Okay, so let's get clear in this episode on control. And this is a tough episode for me, y'all, so I hope it lands well. But let me try to start with simple. Okay, so I think this idea that I'm about to share was made popular by Stephen Covey, but what I want you to picture in your brain is 3 concentric circles. So concentric circles basically is like when you have a small circle inside of a bigger circle inside of a bigger circle, right? So you have 3. And so there's a little circle, and then around that a medium circle, and then the outside circle is the largest. And imagine that you live right in the middle. All right, so you're in the middle of the smallest circle. Now, that first circle is what you can control. It's the closest to you. It contains things like your ideas, your beliefs, your mindset, your willingness to grow, how you react to things, what you say, what you watch, how you talk to yourself, how you treat your body. It is basically anything about you and how you behave and all of that type of stuff. Okay. And in the humaning well world, this is the stuff that I am usually teaching lessons about when I say things like, you get a say on your own experience. You get to actively control or manage these areas easily, maybe not always, but you do get to control. All right. This is where your control resides. Okay. That's your first circle, the smallest one closest to you. Then you have the second circle, right? The medium circle. The second circle is what you can influence. So it contains things like your reputation, your relationships, where you work, how well, people get along with you, your finances, who you vote for, your children's futures. It is your food choices. It's the stuff that you have a say on. But for lots of different reasons, you may not necessarily entirely dictate how things will go. All right. So you get a lot of influence, but you don't get an entire universal say. Okay. And then your third circle, which is the biggest circle, and the circle that if you're in the middle is the furthest out from you, is where you have no control. But it's stuff that you are worried about, that you think about. So this is stuff wars around the globe and weather and, traffic and opinions that you encounter on the internet and government policy and decisions about your local community and all of those kinds of things, right? Things that are just legit out of your control, and about them, you get exposure to them, so you worry about them. I want to just share with you the thing that we would benefit so much from is directing most of our energy to what we can control. Now, stick with me. I know it's a lot going on and it's but we got to care about the world, and we do, and we do, and we do. But you got to start with you, okay? You have to put most of your energy toward what you can control. You. And how you treat you and how you respond. That is all you really can control. And then the next place you want to put your energy is what you can influence, because your influence can inform how you experience some of the things that you control. So for example, your influence dictates who gets elected to office, which can shape how you might experience something you do control, like your beliefs. Okay, so how you practice your beliefs, how that shows up in the world, can be dictated by some rule or guideline that you get a say on through some form of election. Okay, so those are kind of connected. That first circle, that's you, and then that second medium circle, that's stuff that you influence, those are related. What I see a lot of, especially right now, while it feels like everything is a lot, okay, is people paying very little attention to what they can control, and people not leaning into the ways that they get influence, but they are spending a lot of energy being upset and stressed out and angry and burnt out about things that are literally in that third outer circle of concern. Here is some perspective that I learned that the last 18 months has reminded me of, because of the personal evolution that I've been on, and also the evolution that we are experiencing collectively. When I take care of me, my mind, my body, my finances, my relationships, I get to influence more. When what I control is in order, I have the energy to engage in more reputation management, which is that second layer. I have the energy to be thoughtful and intentional about my food choices, which is that second layer. I have more time and capacity to invest in my relationships, which is that influence, that second layer. When I am taking care of me, every single thing that crosses my path feels like I get a say, at least a little bit. But when I'm not taking care of me and things cross my path, oh my gosh, it's all too much. My life is on fire. I am bombarded by the news. I am overwhelmed. I would like to stay in bed and cover my head up and just sleep until it all goes away. And I want you to know, worrying about everything does not serve you or me. It doesn't. My main goal, your main goal, has to be making sure that you are being responsible with what you can control first. You have to take care of your own stuff first. Take responsibility for your own stuff. Like they say on the airplane, secure your own face mask before assisting others. It seems counterintuitive, as evidenced by the thousands of people who are yelling on the internet and on the television and on YouTube and everywhere else about what we should be concerned about. But I promise you, you taking care of you is the ultimate radical act. And I'll give you a simple example. One of the things that I've been really committed to is minding my consumerism. Okay, minding my consumerism. Right now, there are whole documentaries about it. We've all seen Buy Now. If you haven't, okay, look it up. It's BUY now, Buy Now. And it talks about the gross amount of consumerism and waste and the impact that is having on our lives and our experience on this planet, and how damaging it is to our future. No one is going to stop making it if people keep buying it. It's not going to happen. So the thing that I can do, the thing that you can do, the thing that we can all individually by ourselves with no permission do is say, I am not going to buy in this way. I am going to mind my spending. So I have some rules in place, and I'm going to post these on the internet too, because people have asked me to share this again. I shared it in my Instagram story and people were like, oh my God, I need to do that. My rule for this year is I get to buy 5 things. 5 things. Now that doesn't include underwear and undergarments because we all need those. And if the socks are holy, throw them away. But I get to buy 5 things. Okay. 5 things this year, period. I have already bought 2. Okay. 5 things this year is all I get to add to my closet. Now I get to earn some other things if I rehome something or I sell something to someone who decides that they want it. So if I sell a handbag, then I get another credit to go buy something else to add to my closet. But I'm not growing my closet by more than 5 things because I want to make sure that I am minding my consumerism. I'm being very intentional about the quality of things that I'm buying. I'm being very intentional about how they fit into my closet. But my limit is 5 unless I sell or rehome something. If I rehome a nice new pair of boots that I haven't worn yet in my closet, or I rehome a pair of boots that I've only worn once in my closet, that gives me an extra item. Okay. If we all were intentional about what we consume, no one's going to buy all the things that are being made. They will have to stop making them. Us paying attention to what we do independently can affect the things that we are worried about. We are the solution. And so you taking care of you minding what you can control, you being well, you doing the thing, that is the ultimate radical act. Okay. Why else would so much of the world be vying for buying and intent on manipulating your attention? Your literal attention is for sale. If your energy and attention weren't the most valuable resource you have, why would so many forces be trying to claim it? Just think about that for a moment, okay? Like, people are paying attention to what you look at, what you are putting in your brain. Why not direct that attention toward what you should be responsible for the most, which is you? The unity that we all want, the ability to move in collective power, it depends on our individual wellness. People cannot unite in meaningful ways if they are overwhelmed, burned out, and distracted. We cannot begin to exert the collective influence that we have or address our collective concerns if we are not individually fortifying what is our actual first responsibility, which is taking care of ourselves. Paying attention to what you need to be doing. First, concern alone, concern being that big outer circle. Concern alone does not create change. Capacity does. And we'll never get to capacity if we think we have to worry about all of it and never address the part that we can actually control. So I'm saying all that to say, I'm no longer clinging to everything that life decides it's going to take from me and panicking about the changes. I am not sliding into outrage over every little headline. I'm also not working myself into illness anymore and trying to push back on the system that thrives on me not taking care of me. I am focused on humaning well by asking myself the questions that help me get there. And some of those questions include the ones I ask when I encounter new challenges. Number one, is this something I can control or influence? Does it fall in one of those two buckets? Number two, what am I doing to secure my own capacity? I just want us to be more intentional. And, this idea is kind of big. And so I just really hope that this episode isn't too esoteric, which is basically a fancy way of saying like abstract. But I do hope it is instead a reminder that none of us will be any good for any fight, for any future, for any of the concerns that exist in that third outer level if we cannot stand up to our own individual obligations, which starts with taking control of your controllables, which is you. Taking care of your mind, taking care of your well-being, taking care of your community, taking care of your family, making sure that you're well, resting, those things. So that said, take care. Oh, and by the way, tap into the show notes. If you're looking for me on social media, I've had a few people find me on LinkedIn and they said they had to look for me. I know my name isn't the most common spelling. My last name isn't necessarily familiar for folks unless you're from like Latin countries. So if you're looking for me on social media, I'm at Bam Cabral, BAMCABRAL. On LinkedIn, I am under my name, Amber Cabral. But yeah, go find me, follow me, look in the show notes. There's lots of yummy goodies and links and stuff there. And if you like this show, please rate it and leave a comment. It matters a ton. And I will see you next week.